Greetings, Broncos, and welcome back to the next 12th grade senior college planning meeting. Today's topic will be the Common Application. As we shared last week, some of you may be using the Common App during the college application season, while others may not. If the schools specifically require and use the Common Application, this is where you will begin. A quick, simple Google search of Common Application will pull up this site right here behind me. CommonApp.org is their actual website. The Common App is a wonderful thing. We really enjoy using the Common App as a counseling department. And each year, more and more schools are utilizing the Common App. I think it's up over probably 600 schools in the country. So we don't want you to be intimidated. We don't want you to think it's anything different or challenging compared to other applications. The Common App is actually a wonderful thing. So let's take a deeper look at the Common App. Your first step, as we talked about last week, is to create that appropriate email address. You're going to log in, you're going to create an account and log into the Common App. And you will arrive here at the welcome screen. Now, this is where the first step of creating your email allows you to access the portal and the college search function. So, you now have your list of schools. You're applying to 8 schools. 5 of those 8 schools use the Common App. So what is my next step? Your next step is to go to the college search function. You will see here, it starts listing alphabetical order, schools that use and require the Common App. You will simply type in that search box the school's name. It will filter, you will hit select and save, and those 5 schools, remember I gave you an example of you're applying to 8, 5 of which use the Common App, will load and start to create your file folder in your portal for the Common App, which looks like this. I created, a login. Pretend I'm Billy Bronco. I'm a senior in your class this year, and I'm applying to 3 schools that specifically use the Common App. Gonzaga, Texas Christian University, TCU, and USD, University of San Diego. So you can see here on the screen behind me that I searched those 3 schools, selected and saved each individual campus, and they are now loaded under the My Colleges tab. Well, now what? Now what, Ms. Curry? Now what, Coach Jamal? Now what, Mr. Sager? Now what do I do? Well, you are then going to click on each individual campus. So for example, my screen is showing I selected TCU. That tab opens up and allows you to see the questions, recommenders, your FERPA, and a final review and submit of the Common App. So again, you'll click on the individual school. This tab will open up and you will be able to click on these additional new links to dig deeper into the application. Here's one example. So, as you navigate these fields, you'll start with your profile. It'll start with some initial information about your background, your family background, education level of your parents. Then you'll start to get in more specific academic information, testing, SAT, ACT, your extracurricular activities, and then you'll see the writing tab, which will be primarily the bulk of the work of this application, which we'll show you some examples here in a minute. So as you navigate the tab across the header of the website, understand that when you click on each individual tab, it will open up with smaller subset links tabs for you to complete. What's wonderful about all of these applications now being online is that you can log in, work on them for about an hour each night, save it, come back to it the following night, and you'll see fields that show whether or not it's completed, and symbols that will show, oh, this is still missing. So it's really nice and prevents something being sent when it's still incomplete. Okay, as I said a second ago, the writing component will be the bulk of your time spent on the Common App. So a general understanding of the Common App is that schools who use the Common App will at least at a bare minimum require the completion of the Common App essay. So the personal essay. I'll show you the actual questions here in a minute. Now, some schools do require additional essays and or what are called supplemental questions. So, as you started hearing from our counselors and Coach Jamal last week, it is essential that you read carefully to understand specifically what they are looking for. Okay? Look at my example here on the screen. Remember, I'm Billy Bronco, I'm graduating with you, and I'm applying to Gonzaga, TCU, and USD as some of my schools that I'm hoping to earn admissions into. This box is showing me at a bare minimum that these 3 schools require the Common App essay. Now, again, there may be more, so I need to navigate these links and dig in deeper into the application and make sure I'm not missing a supplemental question. Just to clarify what a supplemental question is, think of it as a short answer essay. You have a lengthy essay or multiple lengthy essays depending on the school, and then some schools will have some supplementals where they give you a lower word count to answer a specific question. So, writing, very important. Okay, deeper look on your dashboard. What, again, I said a minute ago, what is so nice about the applications being online compared to when I was in high school and did my paper copies, and Coach Jamal and many of the counselors, we all did paper copies of our college applications. These fields and symbols show you what is required and what has been completed. So you have a nice visual of your progress. And it also prevents what has been done and also what's not been done, and preventing that I just sent my application as an incomplete application. It won't allow you to do that. So you can see here, it says in progress on some of the fields that I just kind of clicked in and played around a little bit to give you some visuals. It's really nice and very helpful. So make sure you, again, are looking at individual school websites. I'm applying to, again, we'll use my example, I'm applying to TCU, Gonzaga, and USD. Those 3 websites are the primary source for information. As well as secondary would be the Common App. So I'm looking at both to determine, okay, TCU requires the following steps for their app. Okay, I'm good to go now, let's get to work. I'm not going to read you these essays, but here are the Common App essay prompts for 2021. You have 7. There is not one that's better than the other. There's not one that is going to give you an opportunity that opens a door because you wrote about number 3 and everyone else wrote about a different number. Don't think like that. You want to select one that really speaks to you, that you have confidence in answering. We attended a workshop a year ago, and the admissions officer gave us one of the best lines we heard, and we've used it ever since. She said, when working on these essays, that after the product is all done and finished and completed, the student should be able to erase their name, take the essay, drop it in the hallway, and for someone to walk over, pick that essay up, read the body and text, and say, that's talking about Matt Hunt, let's say I wrote it. Because it's so well written and it's so detailed and about you and your story and your voice in answering this question, that is a successful essay. And we'll talk more about this as well with the UCs when we talk about UCs here in our next series. But know that we are here to help. We, being Coach Jamal, your counselors, we read a lot of essays. And normally, you would walk in, say, Mr. Hunt, here's my essay. And I'd read it, give you some feedback, and you'd head out the door. We can still do that. We could do it through email. We could do it through Zoom. There's no way that we can let COVID prevent us giving you feedback and instruction. Also, some of our teachers for many, many years have done a great job giving up their time to do the same support. So if there's a teacher you have a connection with and they're ready and willing to read an essay or two, use that, okay? Use that. Now my advice is don't have too many cooks in the kitchen, okay? This is your story. This is your answer. This is your voice. Yes, we always have someone proofread it and give feedback, but we don't need 5, 6, 7 people marking up your essay, because then it's going to sound a little bit different from maybe what you want. So remember that, okay? Okay, FERPA. We talked about it last week. Again, Common App will ask you to waive your FERPA rights. RB Counseling will ask you to waive your FERPA rights. RB Counseling needs the FERPA right waived because we do not write a letter of rec unless you've waived your FERPA. The colleges and universities are asking you to waive your FERPA because you are telling them you trust in the system. You believe in the process, that you're not going to challenge, let's say in March, April, May, June, that you feel that you should have gotten in and there was something that happened in the application letters of rec or the process that you feel wasn't fair or right, and you want to challenge the admissions offer, or I should say the admissions denial in this case, excuse me. So waive your FERPA right, okay? And remember, we talked at length about letters of rec. You're asking your teachers to write those letters of rec that you believe will write a positive, well thought out letter about you. You don't want to ask someone who you think, well, I don't think they write a great letter. Well, choose a different teacher then. Okay, again, another plug, building off last week, but essential, very important. Remember, list RBHS academic program as semester, not quarter. So again, I'm working on Common App, I'm working on UC App. I have a school that is their own unique standalone application. Fine, all are wonderful. This is what they require. List as semester. Why, Mr. Hunt? Why, Ms. Curry? Why, Coach Jamal? How many grades do we get per class? 2. Okay, my example up there, American Lit. I took American Lit last year. I earned an A and a B. That's all I can report. Okay, but if I list quarters by accident or forget or what have you, the GPA is going to come out incorrectly, and you don't want that. You'll catch it because things will come back and you'll be looking at your application and think, this isn't right, this looks weird, my numbers are lower, it says I don't have enough English classes, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. It's more often than not because we incorrectly list it as quarter and not semester. Okay, last piece on Common App. Early decision versus early action. Very popular question this time of year, and certainly related to private schools. Biggest difference is early decision is binding. Early action is non-binding. So please remember and do your homework and be strategic. And remember what I shared last week. That came straight from Cornell. Our department was in the Ivy League presentation and the Cornell rep stood up and she said, you should be taking advantage of these if you are ready to pack your bags and come to a school tomorrow. Not because you think or believe or others are telling you this is the way to strategically get to the front of the applicant pool and compete and it'll increase my chances of getting into XYZ school. That's not the mindset here. Okay? So be smart and if you're considering this. Binding versus non-binding. Also, one of the things to consider is many of the early decision and early action announcements are done before or around the Christmas time season of the calendar. So if I go in early decision and I'm offered and I get in, wonderful, congratulations, I'm going. Well, one of the drawbacks is I might not know what's behind door number 2, remember, which is early action or regular decision. Another school may come to the table and say, wow, we love you, we want you, and here's a big chunk of money to please come to our school. You might not ever know that answer, or excuse me, that offer, and how to answer that because early decision. Now, I'm not speaking ill of early decision or early action. I'm just trying to give you scenarios. As I said last week, regular decision is wonderful, early decision is wonderful, and early action is wonderful, and it comes down to you and your goals and what your plan is. Not your friend, not your neighbor whose sister went to this school 10 years ago and this is what they did. Don't listen to that nonsense. Only focus on you. So again, early decision, early action. Talk to your counselor. If you're in this world, you should already be in communication with us because it's going to push the deadlines up. Things are going to be due earlier, November, early November, because again, the colleges are often announcing by Christmas time. So you should already be in communication with us, working on brag packet, working on letters of rec, talking about transcripts, so that way the ball is already rolling. Okay? So, Common App, thank you again for your time. Our next meeting is focused on the Cal State system, the CSU, and the UC system. So those of you who are applying to those two systems, we look forward to seeing you. And if you have questions about Common App or anything, see your counselor, see Coach Jamal. We all have Zoom office hours up and running. And of course, email and phone is certainly an option as well. Thank you again, and go Broncos.